Oh, I think professors can be of a tremendous impact on their students' choice of majors. And I know in my own biography, I had taken a year each of history of Western civilization, economics, political science, psychology. I had delved into anthropology, and finally had come around and taken an intro course in sociology from a very demanding professor at Central Washington University, and absolutely fell in love with the discipline and decided to pursue sociology as a career, as a major. So I think that professors do have a tremendous impact. Many students who come, of course, for an undergraduate education are undecided as to what their major might be, and they're exploring, and that's one of the purposes of general university requirements for a more a broader liberal arts background, is to allow students that opportunity to explore their interests. And so I think professors can have a tremendous impact. I've always been intellectually curious and engaged, and somehow for me, the love of learning that you see in a small child was never extinguished, and I have a lifelong love of learning. I'm very inquisitive, and one of the reasons why I chose sociology is because it's such an eclectic field or discipline within the academy, that an individual who's a sociologist is free to wear just about any hat that you can be a political economist, you can be a historian, you can delve into culture studies, and so it's a very eclectic but very also extremely dynamic field in social sciences. And I felt that the explanations for human behavior, which had always interested me, were better addressed by sociologists than just about any other academic discipline that I encountered as an undergraduate. Of course, things have changed a great deal since I had taken courses in psychology, for example, primarily from behaviorists, and and so I don't think of academic and disciplinary boundaries in many of the same ways that a lot of professors do. In fact, I uh, uh, feel equally entitled making invasions into psychology as I do into anthropology, for example. So I don't just maintain uh, focus on sociology. I feel that it's important to have an eclectic perspective on human behavior. Well, I think I would have to compare what I hear from my students today with what I heard from students, say, in the early 1980s when I was on campus. And I'm not sure that I see any huge differences, but I do think that uh, students I encounter today are very concerned about their future careers, and and the possibility for upward mobility and economic success. And this is something that the emphasis on economic prosperity isn't just for men anymore. This is a concern of my female students now, in a way that I think wasn't the case so much in the early 1980s. Of course, women were forced in, women, married women, I should say, women with families were encouraged to join the marketplace after the hyperinflationary period of the 1970s under the Carter administration and so forth, in which after the 1970s, by the early 1980s, it was no longer possible for a family with two children to make it on one income, and dual income households became the norm after that period of time. So I think that more female students today that I encounter, at any rate, are share a high degree of concern about their economic prosperity and their futures, which I think was always the case for men.